In today's story, we follow Judge Vanessa Reynolds, a symbol of resilience and integrity who faces an unexpected and distressing encounter. As she drives through an upscale neighborhood in her sleek black Mercedes, a police officer stops her, accusing her of stealing her car. Despite her calm demeanor and attempts to prove her identity, Officer Lawson's actions become increasingly humiliating and discriminatory. The situation escalates until an assistant district attorney intervenes, revealing the officer's grave error. The aftermath is a mix of frustration and resolve for Judge Reynolds. The incident becomes a catalyst for change as she collaborates with Chief Davis to address systemic issues within the police department and advocates for broader reforms. Vanessa's experience underscores her dedication to justice and equality, transforming a personal affront into a powerful force for systemic change. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any videos. On a crisp fall morning, Judge Vanessa Reynolds, a woman of remarkable fortitude and achievement, faced a startling incident that challenged her sense of justice and personal dignity. Vanessa, a proud African-American judge, had fought tenaciously to reach the pinnacle of her career. Her journey began in a modest neighborhood predominantly inhabited by Black families, where she encountered numerous obstacles. These challenges, however, did not deter her. Instead, they fueled her determination to rise above and make a significant impact. Her tireless dedication and commitment to justice eventually earned her a position as one of the youngest judges in the state. Vanessa was renowned for her fairness, integrity, and steadfast dedication to upholding the law. Her achievements were not merely a reflection of her hard work, but also a testament to her unyielding resolve to break barriers. On this particular fall morning, Vanessa was en route to the courthouse, her thoughts preoccupied with the day's cases. Among them was a high-profile case involving police misconduct that had attracted considerable media scrutiny. This case held special significance for Vanessa, who had witnessed the detrimental effects of systemic racism within the justice system firsthand. It was a matter of personal and professional importance, underscoring the very issues she had dedicated her career to addressing. Driving through the picturesque streets of an upscale neighborhood in her sleek black Mercedes, a car she had purchased as a symbol of her success and perseverance, Vanessa was lost in thought. The vibrant autumn leaves painted a beautiful contrast to her dark vehicle, adding a sense of calm to the otherwise busy morning. As she navigated the tree-lined avenues, her contemplation was abruptly interrupted by the sight of a police car in her rearview mirror. The police vehicle, with its lights flashing, was tailing her closely. Puzzled and slightly uneasy, Vanessa checked her speedometer to ensure she was adhering to traffic regulations. She noted with relief that she was neither speeding nor had committed any traffic violations. Despite this, the flashing lights and the persistent presence of the police car prompted her to pull over to the side of the road. She hoped that this stop was merely a routine check and that it would soon be resolved without incident. However, as she came to a halt, a profound sense of apprehension settled over her. The situation, though seemingly routine, was fraught with implications that resonated deeply with her personal and professional experiences. Officer James Lawson, a white police officer with a decade of service, approached Vanessa's car with a commanding presence. Known for his no-nonsense demeanor and unwavering adherence to protocol, Lawson exuded an air of authority that left little room for negotiation. As he walked towards the vehicle, he adjusted his utility belt, his hand resting casually on his holster, a habit that spoke of his confidence and experience. Vanessa, seated behind the wheel, rolled down her window, her calm outward demeanor concealing the simmering irritation she felt at being pulled over without any apparent cause. The traffic stop was an inconvenience and, more disturbingly, it was a situation she had found herself in before, often under similar circumstances. If you are still watching this video and find these stories useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. License and registration officer Lawson commanded, his voice authoritative and devoid of warmth. Vanessa reached into her glove compartment with deliberate calm and handed over the requested documents. She observed as Lawson scrutinized them with a meticulousness that bordered on suspicion. His brow furrowed as he shifted his gaze from the documents to her, and then back again, as if trying to ascertain the truth behind her identity. "This your car?" Lawson inquired, his tone carrying an undercurrent of skepticism. "Yes, it is," Vanessa responded, her voice steady and controlled. Despite having faced such questioning before, often a result of racial profiling, she knew that maintaining her composure was crucial. Lawson raised an eyebrow, his disbelief evident in his expression. "What are you doing in this neighborhood?" he asked, his tone tinged with insinuation. Vanessa felt a flash of anger, but kept her emotions in check. "I'm on my way to work," she said, meeting his gaze with unflinching steadiness. "I'm a judge, and I have a case to preside over this morning." Lawson's eyes narrowed further as he scrutinized her, his skepticism palpable. "A judge, huh? You expect me to believe that his challenge was clear?" And Vanessa could feel her heart rate accelerate, though she maintained her calm facade. "I have my courthouse ID in my bag if you need further verification," she offered, hoping to diffuse the situation with evidence of her professional status. "I'll need you to step out of the car," Lawson ordered, disregarding her offer of identification. Vanessa hesitated, weighing her options. She was fully aware of her rights and the fact that she had done nothing to warrant such treatment, but she also knew that refusing could escalate the situation unnecessarily. With a reluctant sigh, she unbuckled her seatbelt and stepped out of the car, making sure to keep her hands visible as she stood by the side of the road. Lawson then proceeded to search her car without her consent. He rifled through her personal belongings with a sense of urgency, tossing her neatly organized files onto the passenger seat and scattering them indiscriminately. Vanessa watched, her frustration mounting as she was treated with a level of disrespect that she felt was directly tied to racial bias. "Is this necessary, officer?" she asked, her voice firm but composed. Lawson did not respond to her question. He continued his search, opening the trunk and rummaging through its contents with equal disregard. After a thorough and invasive examination, Lawson finally concluded his search. He straightened up, a smug expression on his face as if he had uncovered something significant. "I'm taking you down to the station," he declared. "We'll sort this out there." Vanessa's mind raced with thoughts of how this unjust treatment was a stark reminder of the challenges she faced in her professional and personal life, knowing that the resolution of this encounter might only come after considerable effort and scrutiny. Vanessa felt a wave of indignation rising within her. She had meticulously followed every procedure and protocol, yet here she was, being treated as though she had committed a crime. It was as if her property had been seized under pretenses. She took a deep, steadying breath, determined to keep her emotions under control. "This is outrageous," she said, her voice wavering with controlled fury. "You have no justification for taking me to the station. I have done nothing wrong." Officer Lawson merely shrugged, a smirk playing at the corners of his lips, clearly relishing the authority he wielded at this moment. "We'll see about that," he replied dismissively. As he reached for his radio to call for backup, Vanessa made a decision that she hoped would turn the tide. Without hesitation, she reached into her pocket, pulled out her phone, and dialed a number with swift precision. She spoke in low tones, her gaze fixed firmly on Lawson, before hanging up decisively. "What's that supposed to do?" Lawson sneered, his tone dripping with sarcasm. Vanessa didn't respond to his taunts. Instead, she stood upright, her posture radiating dignity despite the humiliating circumstances. She was resolute in her knowledge of her innocence and was determined to see this matter resolved fairly. Within a matter of minutes, a second vehicle arrived on the scene. This car was unmarked, and a man dressed in a sharply tailored suit emerged from it. He approached Vanessa with a serious demeanor. "Judge Reynolds," he said with a tone of respect and concern, "is everything all right here?" Lawson's face registered clear confusion as the man approached. "Who are you?" he demanded, a hint of irritation in his voice. The man calmly produced a badge. "I'm Assistant District Attorney Michael Turner," he stated. "Judge Reynolds is a close colleague of mine. Can you explain what's happening here, officer?" Lawson's face drained of color as the realization of his error dawned on him. I didn't know who she was," he stammered, his earlier bravado faltering as he faced the gravity of the situation. Turner's expression hardened, his demeanor shifting to one of stern authority. "And does that excuse your actions? You've searched her vehicle without her consent, detained her without justification, and were preparing to take her to the station. I suggest you carefully reconsider your next steps." Officer Lawson's confidence rapidly disintegrated as he recognized the depth of his mistake. He had overstepped his bounds, and the consequences were becoming evident. With trembling hands, he returned Vanessa's documents to her, his voice laden with apology. "I'm truly sorry, Judge Reynolds," he mumbled, his gaze dropping to the ground. Vanessa accepted her documents, her face a mask of calm resolve. "You'll be hearing from my office, Officer Lawson," she said with a composed yet firm tone. She then turned to Turner, her gratitude evident. "Thank you for your assistance," she added, her eyes conveying her appreciation. Michael Turner observed silently as Lawson slumped back to his patrol car, his shoulders slumped in defeat. Vanessa, her mind still reeling from the confrontation, slipped into her sleek Mercedes with a sense of urgency. As she settled into the driver's seat, her hands trembled slightly, betraying the storm of emotions swirling within her. She started the engine, and the hum of the car was almost drowned out by the cacophony of her thoughts: anger, frustration, and a profound sense of injustice. Navigating through the traffic with a tense grip on the wheel, Vanessa drove toward the courthouse, her thoughts racing ahead of her. Each turn and red light felt like a metaphor for the obstacles she faced. When she finally arrived, she parked with sharp precision and walked briskly to her chambers, each step echoing her resolve. She closed the door behind her with a firm click and took a deep breath, trying to ground herself in the familiar surroundings of her office. Sitting down at her desk, Vanessa stared at the piles of paperwork and legal briefs that awaited her attention. Yet her mind was still trapped in the recent confrontation. She had dealt with discrimination before, but this encounter felt particularly piercing. As a judge, someone who had devoted her life to upholding justice and the rule of law, being treated with such blatant disregard was both personal and professional. It felt as though her very commitment to justice was being questioned. But as she reflected, Vanessa realized that her experience was not an isolated incident. It symbolized a larger, more pervasive issue affecting countless individuals who lacked the voice or resources to stand up against such injustices. This realization sparked a fierce determination within her. She knew that her responsibility extended beyond her grievance. It was imperative to use her position and influence to effect meaningful change and ensure that others would not face the same humiliating treatment. Picking up the phone with a newfound sense of purpose, Vanessa dialed her assistant. "I need you to schedule an urgent meeting with the chief of police," she instructed. "And please, get me the contact information for Officer Lawson's supervisor. We need to address this matter immediately." Her voice was steady, but her resolve was unwavering. The remainder of her day was consumed by preparations for her upcoming cases, but her thoughts remained preoccupied with the troubling incident. The sense of injustice gnawed at her, reminding her of the urgent need for action. She was acutely aware that, as a judge, she held the power to enforce accountability and champion fairness, and she was determined to wield that power decisively. The following morning, Vanessa walked into the chief of police's office with a purposeful stride. Chief Margaret Davis, a woman known for her no-nonsense demeanor, greeted her with a steely gaze. Vanessa recounted the events of the previous day with meticulous detail, noting the unprofessional conduct and the impact it had on her. Chief Davis's expression grew increasingly stern as Vanessa spoke, and when Vanessa finished, Davis's voice was resolute. "This is unacceptable," she declared, her tone unwavering. "I will personally oversee an investigation into Officer Lawson's conduct. You have my assurance that this matter will be handled with the seriousness it deserves." If you are still watching this video and find these stories useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Vanessa nodded, a mix of relief and cautious optimism washing over her. "Thank you, Chief Davis. I appreciate your commitment. However, I want to emphasize that while addressing this specific case is crucial, my goal extends beyond just holding one officer accountable. I am interested in working together to tackle the systemic issues at play and ensure that no one else suffers similar mistreatment." Chief Davis regarded Vanessa with a look of respect and agreement. "I share your sentiment. Let's use this as a catalyst for broader reform. Together, we can strive to make meaningful changes that will benefit the entire community." The exchange left Vanessa with a renewed sense of purpose. As she left the chief's office, she felt a spark of hope, knowing that her fight for justice was gaining momentum. In the weeks that followed the unsettling traffic stop, Judge Vanessa Reynolds and Chief Davis formed an unlikely but effective partnership. Their collaboration marked the beginning of a significant initiative aimed at addressing issues of bias and systemic inequality within the local police force. Together, they launched a comprehensive series of training programs designed to tackle bias, enhance cultural sensitivity, and establish clear protocols for traffic stops and other interactions with the public. The programs were meticulously crafted to foster understanding and improve the conduct of officers in the field. As part of the broader response to the incident, Officer Lawson was placed on administrative leave while the investigation into his conduct was ongoing. Vanessa was kept apprised of every development, ensuring that the process was transparent and fair. This administrative action was not just a procedural measure but a symbol of the commitment to addressing the issue head-on. Vanessa's efforts, however, extended far beyond the immediate response. Recognizing that meaningful change required addressing systemic issues rather than merely reacting to isolated incidents, she began to advocate for sweeping reforms within the justice system. Drawing on her personal experience and professional insights, she became a vocal proponent for broader legislative changes. Vanessa spoke at community forums, engaged with lawmakers, and tirelessly pushed for legislation aimed at holding law enforcement accountable for discriminatory practices. Her advocacy was driven by a vision of a more just and equitable system, where accountability was not just an ideal but a practiced reality. The case of police misconduct, which had initially been a source of personal concern, now took on a broader and more profound significance. Vanessa approached the case with renewed vigor, determined to ensure that justice was not only served but also perceived to be served equitably. Her handling of the case was marked by a steadfast commitment to fairness and accountability, and the proceedings attracted national attention. Vanessa's role in the case and her broader efforts made her a prominent symbol of the ongoing fight for equality and reform within the justice system. The investigation into Officer Lawson's conduct ultimately revealed a troubling pattern of behavior consistent with the allegations against him. This finding led to his dismissal from the police force, a decision that elicited a range of responses from the community, some applauding the action and others critiquing it. Vanessa understood that the dismissal of one officer was a small victory in the context of a much larger struggle, but she recognized it as a crucial step toward broader systemic change. Months later, as Vanessa stood in her office overlooking the city that had been the focus of her professional and personal dedication, she reflected on the journey that had brought her to this point. The painful experience of the traffic stop had been transformed into a powerful catalyst for reform and progress. Though she knew that the road ahead remained challenging, Vanessa felt a profound sense of accomplishment. Her work had not only addressed a specific incident, but had also contributed to a larger movement for justice and equality. She remained resolute in her commitment to continue fighting for justice, not only for herself but for all individuals who had faced unfair treatment. As we wrap up today's powerful story, we've witnessed a profound journey of resilience, justice, and the fight against discrimination. From the unjust treatment faced by Judge Vanessa Reynolds to her relentless pursuit of accountability and systemic change, this story highlights the importance of standing up for what is right and using our positions to make a difference. So what have you learned from this story? How can we apply these lessons in our own lives to contribute to a more just and equitable world? I invite you to reflect on one key takeaway from today's video and share it with us in the comments below. What is one thing you will practice in your own life based on what you've learned? If you found this video impactful, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your support helps us continue to bring important stories and messages to you. Thank you for watching.